Hi there knitting friends, my name is Lisa and I am the face, the voice and the mind behind 1121 Windmills, and I'm so excited to share with you my first ever knitting pattern. I thought I'd make this quick little video to share with you what the pattern is, what's included, so that you have a good idea of what you'll be getting. I felt that it was really important to do this because I am a new designer, it's my first pattern, and being able to share it with you in this way I think just would give you a really good idea of what you'll be getting. So please can I introduce to you the Saguaro Socks! Yay! I'm so excited! Here they are. Okay, I designed these socks through well, first of all, I was inspired by the yarn colorway. I'll just hold those up and see if you can see. That's so pretty. The yarn color. It's got this beautiful purples and blues and flecks of green through them. That's prickly pear green. This is the Saguaro National Park colorway by Explore Knits and Fibers, and the contrast color was the mini that came with her sock set, which is called Prickly Pear, and this is absolutely hands down one of my favorite greens that I've ever worked with. What I did is I was inspired by the colorway. I was inspired by the plant, the saguaro cactus, that has these spiny things that go up and down the trunk, I suppose, of the cactus. And I also wanted to design something that would take advantage of a beautifully variegated colorway, something with a lot of variation in the color. I wanted to also knit something that wasn't boring structurally, so I didn't want to just knit a plain stockinette sock. I wanted something that had some kind of texture on it, but I found in the past that when you knit things like lace or cables or something like that, even a knit pearl stitch combination where you've got the yarn, the colorway of the yarn competing with the physical structure of the knit, and the pattern that you're working so hard to create just kind of gets lost in the colors, like you just can't even see the variation of the stitches. When you spend a lot of time and work doing something, you want to be able to see it properly. So that's where this came from. So the first part at the top of the sock is the ribbed cuff, and then it goes straight into these, what I'm calling the Saguaro V stitches. And they are really fun to create. It's a little bit of yarn gymnastics, I won't lie. At the heel, I've given instructions for how to do, it's a short row heel. I've got a plain color option, and so I've got the contrast color option there too as well. So you can choose which color you'd like, if you want to do it with a contrast or if you want to do it plain. Same thing with the whole sock. If you wanted to do the whole sock plain without the contrasting cuff and toe, then you can absolutely do that. And that'll also depend on your yardage as well, whether you have enough in a mini to create the heels as well. So that's why I've given both options. So I will say that when I was designing the sock, I was struggling a little bit with the design of the sock leg, and I was getting up to this point. I had undone it a few times. Then my family and I, we were actually on holidays in Denver in January of this year, and I met up with Ali, the dyer behind Explore Knits and Fibers, and we went out for a coffee, and she was kind enough to hand deliver some of her yarn to me, which was really fantastic. So I took her out for a coffee to say thank you, and we were nerding out on knitting and things like that, and I was a bit nervous to show her, but I did show her the design, and she really liked it. So I was very motivated to keep going with the idea and to see it through. As you can see, after the heel, it continues down the sock. You have the saguaro pattern continuing on the instep of the sock, and the sole of the sock is just a plain stockinette stitch. And one of my favorite parts of the design, as you get to the toe, there's contrast double row of the Saguaro V's where you put in your contrasting color before you get to the toe section just there. And obviously when you have those contrasting lines, you get them on the back as well, and that's just a really cute detail that I really enjoyed. Like, I love that part of it, so I hope you do too. Alright, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly take you through the pattern as well to show you what things are included, because if you're looking at this going, oh my gosh, this is super intimidating, it's really not. I don't know if I would suggest it for an absolute beginner, but if you're comfortable with things like cables and yarn overs for lace and things like that, then you'll probably be okay with this sort of a stitch too. Okay, Alright, so the pattern. The introduction page on the pattern, I just give you a bit of a background of why I designed the pattern. There's also a bit of an overview of the construction of the sock. I've got some general information which includes all the abbreviations that you need to understand the pattern. I've got written instructions for how to do the Saguaro V stitches, and I've got all the guides for whatever you need to do with yardage, sizing, the suggested yarn and weight of yarn and all that kind of thing. I did a whole page on a gauge swatch. I know some people tend not to like doing gauge swatches, but I've handled the gauge swatch a little bit differently, and rather than measuring it, I just created a section of the foot which you can try on and see if it fits you, and if it does, you're good to go. So it's also a really great way to practice doing the Saguaro V stitches. One thing that I did is after I made my little swatch, I was like, oh, this is really cute. I think I could make this into something. So I actually turned it into a little cup cozy, and I gave some instructions for how to do that there. And if you want to see what the cup cozy looks like, this is the actual swatch that I made for my sock. I did just like a little crochet trim on the top and on the bottom, and I put a cute little tassel here on the side, and I've just put it on this jar that we keep our pens in the kitchen, and it's really, really pretty and makes me happy every time I see it. So I have put it on a coffee cup, and that works fine too, and that's a really great way to reuse your swatch so you don't feel like you're wasting your time as well. So further on in the pattern, I've got illustrations that I did to show you step by step how to do the different Saguaro V stitches, full color pictures all the way throughout as well. I've done a chart. I've also given some tips about using DPNs, so if you're arranging your stitches on the needles, then you can follow those diagrams, and that will really help you. And then I've got the full instructions peppered with gorgeous images that I had help from Mr. Windmills to take those pictures, so thank you dear for that. That's pretty much the pattern there. So the other thing that I'll tell you is that the pattern's been professionally tech edited. It's all really exciting. It's set to go, and I hope that you really enjoy it. I hope you enjoyed this preview. I hope that you enjoyed making the Saguaro socks that I designed. If you did, feel free to post on Instagram, tag me. You can put the hashtag Saguaro Socks. If you do purchase the pattern and you have any questions, really, really happy to answer them. Just message me through Ravelry or DM me on Instagram, and that's totally fine. And I really, really look forward to seeing your projects, and I hope you really enjoyed this. Thanks so much guys, and I'll see you again soon. Here they are.